Alright, so we're back. And now what we're going to do is we're going to load the comments and subcomments. So this is kind of excessive here, the way that I create a function just to load the SQL, but I'm going to roll with it. Comments, post ID, comment, reactions, comments, reactions, image, comment date. Now this comment date is not going to be good. And then we're going to have ID. We're not going to have component or category. From comments. Okay. Now, I'm going to create a function. I'll get comments as object. Comments SQL. Okay, I want to have to add an additional parameter here. I want to have to add a post ID parameter because each comment is tied to a post, so I've got to pass the post ID. Okay, so we'll have get comments SQL post ID, and we'll have a where clause where post ID equals post ID. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to build another function, post ID. Okay. And then we're going to do get comments as object. That'll work. Now we're going to construct comment array. To put a link, comment reactions. Okay, these components are going to go. And we don't even really need items. We're just going to have this post ID. Call this comments array. I actually have to do some of this back. Here, I'll actually get rid of this. Back here. Damn it. It's actually going to be comments array. I guess we'll do it right here. Object comments array. Return. Actually, what am I doing? Get post array. Now have get comments array, and this is I would do this differently. I'm just showing you. This is one example of how to do this. There's a lot of different ways to do this, and the way I'm doing it isn't the best. Okay, so I don't feel like auditing this, so I'm just going to see what breaks. Okay, so here now we're down to our post data, and so here we have I'm just going to write a PHP script here and see what happens. Okay, I'm just running this to see what kind of error I get. This is going to be my way of fact checking this. I'm getting really it's been up forever. I'm getting kind of sick of this. Construct comments array. See if there's anything good here. See if I get an error. Okay, so let's see here if I get some of these. I've got a property comment, okay, comment ID, array. Okay, so let's try this. And again, there's a million different ways to do this, and none of the ways that I've done this are the ways that I would have done things if I was making software for a customer. This part of the point of this method is just to be fast. Okay. Yep, I gotta get this here. I think it's going to work after this one. Undefined property. Comment message. Okay, and I don't have comment message on my array. Okay, there we go. So now our comments. Oh, good. Excellent. Now we can actually do this for real. So now you see we've got a mess here. I mean, this would become a nightmare to maintain if we were doing some kind of large-scale project. For this, it works. Okay, so here we've got this. And we're going to so remember here we've got a comment, then we've got a sub comment. So we're gonna actually put our in for each, and I'm going to put this here. We're gonna put our in for each. Actually, no, we'll do that. This just like that. Okay, so comments. Here. Okay. Profile link. That's the profile link. Okay, so actually, let's go back. Back here. Well, actually, I was doing that right. This is profile link. No, this is, what is this? Profile link. Profile photo small. Okay, profile photo. So this is actually it right here. This thing's, I'm getting confused here. This thing is telling me different. We'll get rid of this emoticon. Okay, this looks good. We'll see what screws up. So now what we should have is we should have our comments loading, and all of our comments should load with a generic subcomment. Okay, now we got an unexpected end of file. Okay, which means we got to move our in for each down here. I think that should do it right there, and if it doesn't, we'll fix it. I expect it in the file. God dang it. Okay. So now we've screwed this thing up completely. Okay, next, what we gotta have here. So we gotta have this. This is what I'm trying to just wing this and get it done. Okay, it's not okay. There's some awesome shirts on this website. Good. Okay, here we go. Which route you go and why? Okay, now we're looking good. And so you see here all the comments are loading and everybody's got a generic sub-comments. So what we could do is we could get out, we could comment out this generic sub-comments. It would be a little bit more easier to see what's happening. We have our comments loading from the database, and then the sub-comments are just not doing anything. So I want to remove Diana here. God dang it, what have I done? So I'm not going to remove that. I'm trying to figure out what the hell that I've done here. So let's post detail line divider. Okay, so we're going to leave that generic comment because it's going to be a nightmare trying to get rid of it. Okay, but we're going to have. The next thing is to get the sub-comments. Okay. What we're going to do here, and this is again, this thing is becoming an absolute mess. The way to really do this is to organize this into objects and not have a set of functions that go forever. And here we're going to have sub-comments as objects. I mean, this is an absolute mess, but you'll see what works here. This is an example of how to do this. Sub-comments as objects. I construct subcomments array. Okay, and for the sake of this, I'm not going to rename this variable. Well, I'm not going to rename this variable. I'm sick of this thing here. So we're just going to call it a comment array on the variable. Here, we're going to go back to this. What we're going to do for this subcomment is we are going this. Okay, get subcomments array. We're just going to copy this. Let's see what happens here. I think this could possibly work. We'll just have to see. And of course, you'll see it'll take it a lot longer to load this time too. And Jesus Christ, look at this. So here, okay, so I'll select some sub comments, message and field. Okay, so I gotta go back here to sub comment message, sub comment message. think I gotta use a plural. Have comment message, sub comment message. It's back here. Sub comment message. Why is there not a sub comment message? That should fix it now. I've got to find out why the hell these pictures are freaking 40,000 feet. Wait a minute. Bullshit. Okay, so there we go. Let's see if these things get huge again. I don't see them getting huge. Okay, so there we go. So we have completed the construction of a basic UI for my Facebook site, and it's taken us a long time to do it. I mean, my God, how long have I been working on this? But you will see that we've got a UI I'm working, and let's hear. Well, I would load more posts into the database, But you see how this works. And of course, like I said, right now we've got how many posts? We've got 23. So we couldn't have manually added the posts, all the text, the users' names, probably for all 23 of these posts. All of that manually typing in. Even we got the HTML already built for us in the time that we've spent. Okay, but probably not. Just maybe we could, because we've been at this for hours. But when you consider that my final application, this Facebook site too, my main project, I've got 27,006 posts. For sure, it's a hell of a lot easier. And of course, the other thing is once you have them in a database like this, you have them loaded onto a UI. You can put in form parameters where you can sort these posts based on date, based on what group number they're in, based on anything that you want to. And then, say that I wanted to manually. See, I'm going to find this here. Say that I want to add a search function where I can get a range of posts from January 15th, 2013 to March 15th, 2013. And I want to be able to get, also I want to be able to get September. I want to be able to put any 2 dates from any 2 time periods in and pull a list of posts. What I would have to do if I didn't have this is called being dynamic here. This is what I mean. This is dynamically generated HTML. That the HTML changes, depending on what parameters you put in with the programming, and it changes depending on what's in the database. It changes depending on whatever. This is dynamically generated HTML. So right now, all that's dynamic about this is that it's pulling the HTML from the database. Now, I could add things to this, like I could put a form button, and I could have, say, how many posts to limit. So I'll say limit equals get limit. We'll actually do this. Actually, I'm not going to do it because I'm sick of this. Okay, but the point is I can add all kinds of stuff. You've seen some of my other videos if you watch the series. I can add parameters where I could tell it how many posts I wanted to display. I could tell it to display the first 5. I could tell it to display the last 10. And what I'd have to do is I would have to do stuff like this. I'd have to have a limit equals get limit, and I would put the programming in here so that this SQL statement will be generated dynamically based on the parameters that are entered on the page. And I can do anything that I want with this. And this is pretty nice looking here. This UI, from a programming perspective, it's not an eyesore. The very first UI that I made for this is quite an eyesore, and it mutated into an even worse eyesore because I just threw it together. But this is pretty good right here. And you may be wondering, you may not understand why it is when I have this construct subcomments array that I don't change the variable. The way this works is this variable, this comments array, only exists inside this function. Okay, so in other words, I define this variable right here. I assign this variable the value of a blank array, and then I make all these modifications to it. It ceases to exist after this function is called. How do I explain this? Well, like for instance, if I go here, so watch this, I'll put in if, okay, we'll see, if, here, we'll just put comments array. Let's put print our comments array. What's going to happen here is I'm going to get an error. It's going to be an error about an undefined variable. Okay. And you can't even actually see it. How do I get you to see this variable? Okay, we'll put it right here. So here, let's see if we can do this. Anyway, that's going to work. Print our comments array. How am I going to do this? Okay, well here it's in the HTML. If we go to the source HTML here, see this undefined variable. It's because of the way this is formatted. We have undefined variable on comments array. That what happens when I call these functions? When I call this function, this construct comments array, this construct subcomments array, so I call construct subcomments array. It creates this variable for the purposes only of this function. And then it does all these modifications to this variable, adds all these values, and it returns the finished array to whatever variable called the function. So if the function is never called, this variable never exists, and it doesn't matter what I name it. Okay, so I could say var posts for today equals construct sub comments array. And if I had a comment ID to pass in there, I could pass for it. And what's going to happen is this value here, this comments array variable that's returned. Okay, it's returned. It doesn't return the variable name. It just returns what's stored in the variable. Okay, so whatever's stored in this variable in this comments array will be stored in this variable post for today, and it'll still be as if this variable comments array never existed. In other words, it doesn't, when you define a function like this, it doesn't matter what you call your variables. That when you're naming your variables, like I've got this post array variable, I've got the components. The reason I give them names at all, the reason that they have any kind of a name at all, the reason I don't just say, instead of saying post array, I don't just say RF, GFB equals this, okay, is because you give your variables meaningful names, and it helps you keep track of what the hell that you're doing. That there's no value at all in the actual variable name, and from the computer's perspective, that I could create. I could create a variable like this, named this, and use it in place of this post array. And every instance, instead of saying post array, post ID, I can have ESRS FSGD equals, and it serves the same function. It's the same thing when you have these arrays, and you're looping through them with a for each loop. What this is this is the array, this is the key, and this is the value of the key. And it doesn't matter what you call them. So you can call it for each post array as P XX, okay, or something stupid like this, and it's still going to work. That the variables, like in this for loop, the variables just reference things. Okay, this for each loop, the syntax of a for each loop is you put your array as your first variable. Then you use the keyword as, and if you want to just print out the value, you can say post array as and just have value. Or if you want to print out the key and the value, or you want to access, whatever you want to do with it, you want to access the key and the value, then you put as key, and then you put this forward arrow value, and that's what you do. And so whatever you put here, again, this variable has to be correct. Okay, so if you've got a post array, and you want to loop through it, you've got to put post array here. You can't name it randomly anything. You can name the key, however, you can name that randomly anything, and you can name the value randomly of anything. that if I name this X and I name this P, then X is going to reference the key, and P is going to reference the value. And every time I want to do something, if I want to, echo out some values or print out, I can say echo P, or print R V, or whatever I put in there, XX, V, PFF. It doesn't matter. And so if you don't understand programming, or if you do understand programming, I doubt that I've taught you much that you don't already know. Maybe I have. If you don't understand programming, I hope that I haven't lost you too completely here, and you get an idea. The part of this documenting my Facebook project is to give you an idea as to how this whole thing was built, kind of behind the scenes, and how the data that you see on these spreadsheets, if I send you an SQL file, whatever data that I send you, if I send you a UI output, to show you how all this, where all your data is coming from, and how it's all organized and produced and presented, and so forth. And so I'll make one more video, or one more set of videos. It might be, I'd say at most to be 3 or 4 videos to go over this project, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a brief explanation of how I created my statistics tables and what I did. You saw here at the beginning of my project, I explained to you how I made the master users table, how I had to make a master users alt table. I've demonstrated loading some posts. I've got some UIs. I've showed you some members lists. Okay. You saw that, and so we're going to fast forward and kind of pretend like that I've got all 27,006 posts loaded that I wanted, and I've made my master users alt table, and I've got all my members lists, and I want to show you what happens to the data subsequent to that. And for that, we may return back to my old database. And then that'll be the end of the Facebook documentation series. And hopefully you've learned something from this and found this interesting. And I'll see you in the next video. And thanks for watching.